Welcome to our daily news program broadcast to you live on Canal Algérie. Onto the headlines. The Paralympic Games kick off in Paris and the President of the Republic extends his best wishes to the Algerian participating athletes. As part of the 14th day of the electoral campaign, the three candidates set up their activities throughout the country, urging citizens to turn this event into a real success. The ANI delegations abroad intensify their inspection visits ahead of the voting operation next Monday. The Zionist escalation goes on in Gaza, and Algeria warns the UN Security Council against the dramatic consequences of such genocidal war. Welcome again. Today marks the official kickoff of the Paris Paralympic Games. On this occasion, the head of state, Abdelmajid Tebboune, extended his best wishes to the Algerian delegation, wrote the President of the Republic on his official account. I wish our elite athletes the best of success at the Paris Paralympic Games. May you honor Algeria and its people as you have always done. You have our full support. The Paralympic Games of Paris kicked off today with the opening ceremony in La Concorde Square and driven by the good performance of Iman Khalif and Kylian Moore, our athletes are highly motivated to shine in the French capital and snatch the maximum of medals so as to honor their country and hoist the national flag. More details with our sports reporter Salim Merah.
For the 9th consecutive participation in the Paralympic Games held in Paris, France, Algeria will be represented by 26 athletes already based at the Olympic Village. The primary objective is to hoist the national flag and achieve better results than those of Tokyo, where Algeria's harvest stood at 16 medals, including 4 gold medals. This objective seems to be within Algeria's reach with the participation of 5 world champions such as Skandar Athmani, Safia Jalal and Nassima Saifi. We are well prepared. We worked hard, yet the competition remains very tough. I will do my best. We are determined to do our best, and we will represent Algeria in a better way thanks to our good preparation by taking part in several meetings.
شاركنا في منافسات دولية باش نقيم المستوى تاعنا على المستوى العالمي.
More than 5,500 athletes representing 100 of countries will compete during this major sporting event, gaining more and more importance.
And it is the 14th day of the electoral campaign. Candidates and their representatives are still holding meetings and rallies across the country to present and explain their presidential programs and urge for a high turnout given the importance of this national event. The roundup with Leticia Sedqawi.
From Tamaras province, and during his meeting with civil society representatives, the independent candidate Abdelmajid Tebboune's campaign manager, Brahim Merad, reiterated that the South's inhabitants are the impregnable fortress and shield of the country. Brahim Merad seized this opportunity to commend the efforts of the province's inhabitants to safeguard our borders and to protect national unity, in addition to their commitment to good neighborliness policy in accordance with the principles of the Algerian diplomacy. The same speaker reaffirmed that the independent candidate Abdelmajid Tebboune has a diversified program to promote development in Tamaras province, reassuring the attendees that their province is a part of every aspect of the country's future. Recalling Abdelmajid Tebboune's achievements during his first term in promoting inclusive representation and rooting out corruption while separating money from politics and granting trust to all citizens, notably the youth. Merad stressed that the independent candidate Abdelmajid Tebboune placed the demands of the southern province's inhabitants a priority in the commitment. As for Hassan Sharif Abdel Ali, he kicked off his visit to Tamaras from Tahagat neighborhood, as he preferred to speak face-to-face to citizens before delivering his speech in a popular rally in which he highlighted the political, security and economic importance of the region. The same speaker highlighted the province's strategic depth in the stability and security of the country, being a border province, notably in light of the problems in neighboring countries that are no longer considered as local problems but international problems. Adding that this region is indeed a real reservoir to the country, given its various resources at all levels, sparking the greed of the country's enemies. Hassani Sharif Abdelali also evoked illicit immigration from the south to the north and the ensuing repercussions given the transit character of the region. Air transportation, barter trade with the possibility of a free trade market, in addition to other points relating to tourism, mines and water were debated by the MSP candidate. The FFS candidate Youssef El-Shish was a guest of Al Mujahid Forum, where he debated the deep political reforms in his program with a different vision in order to build a real, democratic and open political system through a participatory consensus process, adding that we must all establish a foundation of the rule of law while respecting justice, freedom in addition to individual and collective freedoms. He stressed as well the importance of devoting the principles of good governance at all levels via deep constitutional reforms and amendments to uphold the separation of powers and limit the encroachment of the executive authority over others, while strengthening the power of the legislative authority. Youssef El-Shish added that the program Ru'ya depends on a semi-presidential system of governance with a parliamentary orientation, while upholding decentralization and promoting participatory democracy through constitutional reforms and amending laws. Socially, El-Shish noted that his program supports a modern health system.
Let's move now to the preparations being made for our community abroad, starting from Nantes, inspected by an ANI delegation to ensure the smooth running of this important political event. More details with both Afaf Brouchet and Melissa Kubash.
Still with the preparations of the 7th of September elections, and this time it is from one of the biggest French cities, Nantes, where a number of our communities settled there are quite excited to accomplish their electoral duty.
We're very excited for the upcoming presidential elections, as our next president will represent Algeria on the international scene. People are now aware that by voting they make a change and improve our situation. Voting is both our right and duty towards our country. We have 3 candidates and we hope that people will choose the fittest one.
The Algerian consulate there is covering 11 constituencies over a distance of 400 kilometers, as no less than 12,000 voters are awaited.
We've opened 6 offices in different regions, in addition to 2 more at the level of Nantes, to welcome as many voters as possible. A large number of voters are expected. The preparations are still underway, and so far everything is good. It should be noted that people living far from the consulate, they can manage their paperwork at the level of the town hall of their neighborhood.
A great solution for our diaspora, knowing that the first day of school there coincides with the election day.
In Nanterre, the ANI delegation inspected the latest preparations to welcome our nationals fully ready to accomplish their electoral duty towards their homeland in the best possible conditions. Afaf Brouchet and Melissa Kubash once again.
In Nanterre, the same atmosphere prevails. A delegation there is established to review all legal documents, including attendees' sheets, minutes, and what we call the guide, to ensure the smooth running of the election operation.
This is the guide. We find all the necessary information in it. Everything is clarified from the beginning until the end, written in Arabic and in French. We hand it to every office's president so he could follow the progress of the entire operation. We also received the representatives list from Algiers and that of observers, as their name must be indicated by the ANI elections. They must bring their identity card as well so we can make badges for them. We must be vigilant, as this is a very important operation. It is the future of our country. We hope to ensure the smooth running, transparency and democracy of this political event.
The Council, for his part, ensured the logistics and security for this operation. Nanterre's constituency is the most important one for our community, as it covers 3 departments. The Algerian Consulate doubled the efforts this time to strengthen the ties between the candidates and the electorate.
We've opted along with ANI for 7 mobile offices to ensure large coverage within the 3 constituencies. In comparison to the previous years, we've doubled the Annenberg mobile offices. We've also added a QR code to move the position of each one of them.
Those recently registered have received their electoral card via their mails and could get more information at the level of the consulate's website.
In other news, a government meeting was held today under the chairmanship of Prime Minister Nadir Al-Arabawi, a meeting dedicated to the follow-up of strategic projects in the mining sector. It also included the phosphate project of Bled Al-Hadba. The government also listened to a communication on the regulatory text relating to public markets and examined the measures taken as part of the preparation of the upcoming return to school and work. The government then listened to another communication on the progress of the urgent program decided by the President of the Republic on drinking water supply for some regions, especially those affected by water stress. Finally, and in line with the President of the Republic's guidelines regarding the proper care of members of the national community abroad, the government examined the various measures taken by the National Maritime Passenger Transport Company to ensure the return in the best conditions on the occasion of the end of the 2024 summer season. To cooperation now, the Minister of Foreign Affairs and National Community Abroad, Ahmed Attaf, received a call from the Libyan Minister Tahir Al-Bawar, who thanked Algeria for its honorable stance at the recent UN Security Council meeting on Libya. He praised Algeria's support for Libya's legitimate aspirations for security and stability through an inter-Libyan process under UN auspices. Add on to the operational report of the People's National Army's activities in the past week. In the context of the fight against terrorism, detachments of People's National Army arrested 5 support elements to terrorist groups during separate operations across the national territory. And regarding the fight against organized crime and drug trafficking in our country, combined detachments of the PNA intercepted, in coordination with the different security services, in operations across the military regions, 41 drug traffickers and thwarted attempts to introduce 10 quintals and 38 kilograms of processed keef, 515 grams of cocaine, and more than 486,000 of psychotropic tablets were seized. In Tamarasset, Borj Baji Mukhtar, In Salah, and Ingazam, PNA detachments arrested 506 individuals and seized 19 vehicles, 118 generators, 42 jackhammers, mixture of raw gold and stones, in addition to quantities of explosives, detonation tools, and other equipment used in illegal gold mining operations. On the other hand, 15 other individuals were arrested and 6 anti-hunting rifles, 2 automatic pistols, and more than 69,000 liters of fuel, as well as 34 tons of foodstuffs intended for smuggling and speculation were seized during separate operations across the national territory. And for their part, the border guards thwarted at the level of our national coasts attempts at illegal immigration of 80 individuals aboard homemade boats, while 873 illegal immigrants of different nationalities were arrested across the national territory. In other news, Algeria reiterated its call for a ceasefire in Gaza, warning for a regional escalation. The deputy permanent representative of Algeria to the UN also urged an end to Zionist aggression in Lebanon and the withdrawal from Lebanese territories, stressing that these conditions are bad for regional stability. Nassim Gawawi also welcomed the one-year extension of the UN peacekeeping forces mandate in Lebanon. He made these remarks during a UN Security Council meeting on the Middle East and Syria. And at least 58 Palestinians were killed during the last 24 hours in Gaza by the Zionist army, which today carried out attacks in the center and north of the enclave, targeting several neighborhoods. A school was also hit in Deir al-Balah, as it was the case for houses in Khan Younis, Jabalia, and other regions, causing the death of dozens of Palestinians, the majority of which are children. And with that, our today's news edition comes to a close. Thank you for tuning in, and goodbye for now.